All right, welcome to Tuesday Night Live. I feel like I've not been on here in a very long time,
It's good to see you,
but I'm
buddy.
so glad to be back and excited to talk to some folks tonight and just have an hour of outdoors discussions. Um, January 30th, really the best thing going on right now in the woods is hunting for deer sheds.
Yeah,
So let's talk about it. I'm sure people are seeing bucks on camera that have no antlers left. And I'm sure some are still holding strong. Mike, are you seeing
hmm
anything on your end?
yeah. The last couple of pictures that I've received that were bucks, we were still holding both. I did have one small buck that came in. He looked like he just had one side. He was like a spike or like a real small 4 pointer or something like that. But every other deer that we've seen has been holding still.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and share this.
Yeah, it's that time of year, man. It's kind of that transition period. You're figuring out what you can do. We've got trapping and we've got some little bit of squirrel hunting and rabbit hunting if you still want to get out. In some places, I don't know that I know some of the areas in Kentucky rabbit season ends at a certain time.
Yeah, you still got some time. Man, just the weather has been so nasty.
It's been terrible around here. I was in Disney last week, I know, and this weather has been rainy and nasty. I've been watching the stuff going on at home, and it's been
Yeah.
nasty for
I don't
us.
see the comments. There they are. Jimmy Carroll's here. Hello, brothers and sisters. Jimmy, so glad to have you. A
Hey,
good
Jimmy.
howdy, fellas, from the Facebook group. Let us know if you're watching from the Facebook group. Let us know what your name is when you comment. Somebody's been smoking ducks. Um, if you're watching, I've not been on here in a while, and so just had some things going on. It's kept me busy. But if you're watching, I want to know where you're watching from. I just talked to someone today, and they were like, "Where are all your followers from?" And I'm like, "Well, a lot of Kentuckians, but we have people from Michigan to Florida,
hmm
from Texas to New York, right?
Yep.
So, where are you watching from? Especially if you're in Kentucky, just tell us the city, town, area, whatever. If you're not in Kentucky, I want to know what state you're in. Jimmy's in Richmond, Kentucky. Mike, when'd you get back from Florida?
We got back on Sunday evening, right around 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m.
Nice. Southeast Missouri. Might as well be Kentucky. Southeast Missouri. We'll claim you.
Love it.
That's probably
Thank you.
Alan. Is that Alan Morris? Alan, are you from Southeast Missouri? Brian is watching on YouTube from Illinois. Brian Kolzak is how I'm going to say it. Are you guys going to the NWTF? Well, um, I don't think I'm going to get to because
I don't think I'm going to either.
I start a brand new job that week, so I can't take off. I mean, you can't start a new job and say, "Hey, I know I started on Monday, but can I have Thursday and Friday off?" You can't do that, right?
Yeah.
And I have a lot to learn at this new job, and I'm very grateful for it. It's going to be good for me, um, but I can't go. And then I was going to go. I was like, well, I can at least wake up Saturday or leave Friday evening and go down. Um, but Ellis has archery and basketball that Saturday,
Yeah.
and I could miss it. I am the basketball coach, and you know what? Based on the last 2 weekends, anyone could do just as good of a job as I've done because they've been awful. And I mean, we have gotten our butts handed to us 2 weekends in a row. And I swear, if I say go right, they go left. If I say turn and pass, they turn and dribble. It's been awful. So anyone could coach that basketball team, but I'm committed, and
Yeah.
I'm committed for 4 years because both daughters are going to play. But anyway,
Love it.
so I'm going to miss NWTF, and what I'm really going to miss about it, I'm not going to miss the products. I'm not going to miss all the all the crap quacking that gets on my nerves. The duck guys are unbearable at NWTF. However, I'm going to miss all the people I get to talk to and see.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Brian. Brian says, "Hey, skip basketball. Let's get some beers." Brian, I think that that weekend is actually our tournament, and I just can't miss because we
Yeah.
aren't the. I mean, we're the middle of the road. We're not the top team. We're not the bottom team. We're 2-2. So, but those two losses have been bad.
Yeah.
However, my brother Josh, right there, he will be at NWTF representing Eastern Outdoors, and so you can link up with him. So, Brian, there's Josh. Find him on Facebook, and you guys link up, and he'll be glad for you to buy him a beer.
Yeah.
Let's see. This guy says, I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm in a similar boat, and it's this year is a little bit different. We ended up going to, like I was saying a minute ago, we just got back from Disney with the family, and then
Yeah.
with me getting picked for that quota hunt in Florida in late March for Ocala National Forest. I'm
Mm.
gonna be taking I'm gonna take like probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 days off of work that week as
Yeah.
well. So I don't know that I'm taking a lot of work, a lot of time off work in the next couple months. So I figured that, and then obviously we also have basketball on Saturdays as well with the boys, and I'm the boys coach. So at our Kenton Elementary School there, and we're going to have games that day as well.
So the only way I would get to go, I'm looking at her schedule right now, is that weekend is if my team finishes third out of the seeding. There are 7 teams, I think, 6 teams. If we finish third, which we have a shot to, then we have a bye that weekend, and we might get to go. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. Probably not though.
it
Um,
stinks that we can't go because we've gone just as a group. The three of us have gone down the last 2 years in a row.
I'm guessing that's Bub that said, "Dang, you ain't going, Bub. I'm
Yeah.
not." Bub, just consider this my version of scheduling a hunting course when I'm supposed to be at deer camp. So I'm sorry, you let
Brian,
me down
Brian,
on you now.
Brian says hashtag tank for NWTF. I love it.
I
He
know
says
if we
tank.
finish third seed, it won't be tanking. It'll be really playing above our weight. So, hey, speaking of which, does South Carolina beat Tennessee? Do we have any
I hope
Tennessee
so.
fans? Any South Carolina basketball fans? South Carolina was beating Tennessee,
Were they?
and that would be. Oh, they did. They beat Tennessee and Kentucky in the same week.
That's a big
Held
week for South
Tennessee to
Carolina.
59 points,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
they're
South
eight. And
Carolina's a little better than people think, and give them
listen,
credit for
South
that's great.
Carolina is 18-3, 2 wins against top 6 teams, and they're not ranked.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
What is going on there?
They're going to be ranked next week.
Yeah,
sure.
and listen, shout out to the Harlan County boy, Trent Noah, the best. The second best, I guess. The kid from Lyon County, what's his name? Travis.
Travis Perry.
Travis Perry is the top-ranked Kentucky high school player, but Trent Noah is second, and he's going to South Carolina. So, anyway, yeah, South Carolina's good, man.
That's helpful to the Cats. I'll take it.
Yeah. James Evans is here. Hey, James, how you doing? We appreciate you. Doug Clayton said, yes, they did, talking about South Carolina. Chris is here. Chris and I were just talking a little bit earlier, and glad you're here, Chris. Feels like I've not seen you in forever. Loman is going to be at NWTF on Friday. Loman, I missed your call today, and I'm so sorry. I started to call you back, and then my kids had practice, and I've been doing laundry, and I just got sidetracked. So anyway, all right, here's what we want to know. Hey, listen, it's deer season's been over for a couple of weeks now. For some of y'all, it's been over since November, I guess, at least December. And after deer season really never ends, especially if you're a public land guy and you're wanting to scout for next year. If you're a private land guy and you're preparing your land and managing your private land, it doesn't matter. Everyone has something to do for deer season, even if it is January 30th. And Mike and I talked as soon as we got on the live. Are your bucks, if you still running trail cameras, cell cameras, are your bucks still holding their antlers? And I'm guessing some of you are going to say yes. Some of you are going to say no. And some of you are going to say some of them are, some of them aren't. So if you got pictures, send them to us. And what's it look like where you live? And Mike, is there any rhyme or reason to when a buck drops its antlers? I've heard things, I've read things, but what do you think?
The just from my experience in just trail camera stuff, and then where I found certain antlers,
Yeah,
I don't know that you can ever really predict when it's going to happen.
right.
This time of year, I think if you were, say, deer season was still in, if you were to kill a buck and it were to fall over and you would start dragging, you could probably pull one off pretty easy just by dragging the deer.
Or you could be like Caleb Hatmaker and just shoot their antler off.
I've known people to do that too. Yeah. So,
hey, Casey said most of mine are. I don't know if they're holding. I'm guessing he's saying holding. Most of mine are holding. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine are still. We were kind of talking about that earlier. I do have one small buck where an antler, you could tell he just had one, but all seem to be holding for the most part. And honestly, I think where we're gonna really, it's gonna start peaking. All that dropping is gonna start peaking in
Oh,
February,
the
I
next
believe.
3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, still holding. Yes, mine are. Most are still holding. Now, what I've always read is that the better health of the deer, the better nutrition that they've gotten throughout the year, the
Yeah.
longer they'll hold their antlers. So we'll see. Is that true? I don't know. Does the amount of sparring and fighting they've done, does that affect it? I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Casey says yes, holding. Let's see. Y'all have such great videos. Y'all need to do a video that covers falconer hunting with hawks, falcons, eagles. I think that's very cool. I
That would
think
be very cool.
falconing, I don't know if that's how you say it, but hunting with falcons, very cool. I see hawks. I see hawks. Every day when I leave my house, there are hawks just perched on power lines or fences, and they really bother me because they just destroy small game, right?
Hmm.
So someone actually, there was a. Have you guys seen this? If you've not seen this, somebody try to find this. Somebody try to Google this for us and maybe put the link or screenshot or something in the comments. Um, there's a politician in Kentucky whose pet was taken by a hawk, and now he wants to open like a hawk hunting season
Wow.
to thin out hawks. And
That's
when
federal
I
stuff right
talked
there.
a few years ago, when I sat down with Kevin Murphy, if you know Kevin Murphy, he's on Meat Eater. He's on the latest season of Meat Eater. He's a Kentuckian. He's a wonderful guy, smarter than me and Mike put together. Like that's not even a diss on me and Mike. The guy's brilliant, and he has a major issue. He's a small game hunter, rabbits and squirrels, and he has a major issue with the amount of hawks that we have, and
Mhm.
they're protected. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, Adventures with Fur and Feathers. Cool name, by the way. Appreciate you watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. And any videos, fur and feathers that you have that you could share with us, we'd be glad to use it. We'd be glad to post them. I think it's cool, Mike.
Yeah, that's a unique style of hunting, and the falconry is really cool. I mean, I've never seen that myself or been a part of a falconry in a hunt with, birds of prey like that. That'd be a lot of fun to see, and it would be a lot of fun to cover, to be honest with you. If we ever got in a situation where we could be invited on and video for somebody, or just
Yeah.
to interview or show clips of it, that'd be an absolute blast. That's
Yeah.
neat.
I'll put one of those gloves on. Make me a whatever the whistle at the hawk or whatever. Mark Lilly said, "Oh, that's sweet. Who brought that to you?"
My little Haley, she came in and
Oh man, what a
just turned
gal.
9.
Mark says he tried to get his late season buck antlers off by dragging, but couldn't. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mark thought he was killing a doe and killed a buck with very, very small antlers. Is that right?
That happens. Yeah, I think that did
So.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark, is that? I think that's a situation where it's, probably later in the evening,
It was
and
very
that
late
deer walks in
season.
late, and then all of a sudden, bam! You go walk up to it, and it's
Yeah.
got those little 2-inch spikes. Back in
Bang.
the day, that actually would still count as a doe. They would say the rule would. I think the rule was like the antler length had to be like 3 to 4 inches or more to be considered a buck.
Yeah.
But now it's anything above the hairline. So
Hey, I'll tell you what though, good on Mark, because how many people would be like, I'm not going to count it and kill
yeah.
another buck. Hey, you know one that would do that, right?
Unfortunately, we've had some
You've dealt
stories.
with one. You've dealt with one that would do that.
Yeah.
We won't name any names. Heck, I don't even know their names. Loman has a good comment here. Bedding areas, food sources are great locations to start looking for sheds. Mike, like you guys have big clover fields. You have different food sources that you've planted, and it's those bucks. I mean, I've seen videos. Those bucks just drop their head and their antlers just fall right off.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the first place people should start looking, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We always find antlers in our clover fields. Quick plug for clover, by the way. Our mild winters recently. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else is experiencing this, but I highly recommend getting clover fields in. They're starting to stay green through most of our winters. I mean, I think they start to brown off kind of around this time, maybe February,
Yeah.
but then they kick right back in March. So it's literally almost a year long now that you get a food plot out of it, and it is a great place to find antlers. We almost always find at least one shed in our clover field, and I'm sure we'll find some in corn as well.
Yeah. It seems like sorry, I got distracted. It seems like everything has been pushed back a month,
Hmm.
right? Like September. I mean, has always technically been summer, right? Until
Yeah.
like September 22nd. But it's hot summer in September.
Hmm.
And December is like a more mild winter, and January is like when winter really kicks in. So I feel like maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. But I feel like everything is kind of shifted up, which I'm cool with. In some ways, it's great. Some ways, it's not. Makes for usually a really cold early turkey season,
Yeah.
really cold youth turkey season.
We've had a couple of
Steve's
cold ones. Yep.
Steve's never found a shed. Maybe this will be his year. I've only found a handful. I really never went and looked for them much. Mike and I did. The very first time we'd ever done, maybe the second time we'd ever done anything together, really. And literally like 20 yards from our trucks, Mike's like, "Is that a shed?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think it is." And it was just a set perfectly, just
Yep.
perfectly laying there. That was really cool. That was on
That
public land.
was cool. That was from a 10-pointer on public land. Yeah.
Yeah. That was probably late February, maybe.
Yep. Yep.
Arian says we had 3 hawks come into our neighborhood, absolutely destroy all of our yard squirrels and songbirds. Have 2 squirrels left compared to dozens daily. I'm telling you, they're bad. They're really bad.
Wow.
People in the Middle East have them as pets. I'm guessing falcons. Hamas is just over there attacking with falcons. I don't know. Falcons, that is, Josh says. Yep. Mark says, yep, that's true. He accidentally killed a very tiny buck. And if you know the Lily families, they usually don't do that. They're killing big bucks. But Mark was
Yeah.
definitely.
I guarantee so many people do that though, man. It's so daggone hard. If you got a deer that walks in like right at last light, and you get a situation where you just can't see, and I've seen it. My dad actually killed a buck like that on my uncle Darren's place, and it's just like it's super disheartening. Like it's just like, oh, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
But those deer that have those little 2-inch spikes, you just can't see them sometimes, especially in those situations. Yep.
Yep. You just laugh about it and move on. James says he would like to see some of the best sheds that people have found. So you heard it from James, folks. He is making a request. If you have some pictures of the best antlers you have found, now don't go rummage through Google Image and try to find a set. Some that you've actually found, and I will show you one of the best sheds. It was a deadhead. I think that still counts. That was found on public land in Kentucky a few years ago. That was incredible. If I can find it. Josh said November used to be much colder. Hawks are hard on turkeys. They are. Owls are terrible on turkeys because they also can fly, right?
Yeah.
So
we're hearing more.
Mountain.
We're hearing more and more about a certain kind of buzzard being hard on fawns.
I've not heard that, but I'll believe anything.
I'm hearing
Mountain Taxidermy and Freeze Drying says with a very nice largemouth bass mount right there, by the way. They shed antlers like a baby lose their baby teeth. I've had pet deer, and I've had one of my bucks antlers in my hand, and I felt a suction sound, and it came right off. So makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. If you live in central and western Kentucky, I feel like it's probably much easier to find, or let's just not even say that. Some of these people don't live in Kentucky at all. If you live in areas with rolling hills and agricultural areas with flat land and farms, and you're probably going to find a lot more sheds. But what about guys that are living in mountains and hill country, right? Where there's not a lot of flat land, there's not a lot of agriculture. Where should those guys look?
That's a great question. I think, and I love bringing I love bringing that topic up specifically with the mountainous stuff, just because of and I've never found one in the mountains, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. But just by thinking of places and some of the places that you've shown me in Eastern Kentucky that we've hunted together,
Yeah.
with bear hunting, just those finger ridges that take a deer where you could just get on that trail and go all the way down, and
Yeah.
it kind of pinch points into different certain areas. Some of those shelves and kind of saddles, if you will. Some
Right.
of the side saddles on the sides of hills and things. Those would be great places, just because that's where the deer are traveling back and forth. But that's a good question. I would imagine focusing more on bedding, because food is probably a little bit more scarce or scattered in the mountains, and you may not be able to pinpoint that
For
as
sure.
easy as someone with
For sure.
agriculture. So bedding and also just travel routes.
Josh said in the woods. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or if he's just dumb.
Being hard on the brother already. I love it.
I don't know. Hard to tell. Can we just say something real quick? I do have a photo to share of one of the best deadheads you'll ever see. But I want to go back to something that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. But if you're in Kentucky, you'll understand. This is this is a comment from Bub Tackett, good friend of ours, and we've given him a hard time because he was pulling for our Democrat governor, Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear's been really hard on Fish and Wildlife. Andy
Yes, he
Beshear
has.
has given them a very difficult time. But Bub was an Andy fan. And it was for personal reasons. Andy, he needed some favor there with Andy. But he just wanted to let everyone know he's no longer an Andy Beshear fan. Bub finished second he could have been the district commissioner for District 7 with Fish and Wildlife, and Bub didn't get it. Andy chose someone else.
Dang
So,
it.
Bub, I'm no longer, never was an Andy fan either. Now, Mike, he might be. I don't know.
No, that's never been a thing. But no, and a big reason why that is obviously we all have little things, and not to get off topic here, but he has been very hard on Fish and Wildlife, and he has sought to do some things that I disagree with. So fellas, we're in a weird spot right now. We got to fight for our firearms, and we got to fight for our right to take those firearms out to deer hunt when we want to. And that anybody that's against that, I'm not going to be for. So there's that.
There you go. There's that. This is what you were saying, travel routes and mountains. Yeah, if you can find a good trail that's pretty slick and used a lot, that's a good place. Any water sources where, streams that run through the mountains or hills or creek bottoms or things like that have water run through it is a good one. I've even read where if it's a maybe more of like a river type where they have to cross and they get wet when they get out and they shake, like a dog will shake water off of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
I
one.
saw a video of that the other day.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah.
So let me show you the deadhead that was found in Kentucky. You guys are going to like this. Let's see who can guess. Actually, I don't think it. Hold on. Let me look.
Was it found this year?
No, like 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. I want everyone to guess and if you already know the answer, have looked it up, don't give it away. But this is a deadhead that was found. Daggone it. Come on. Here we go. And there. Can you see it? See that deadhead?
Yep.
So pretty small brow tines. I never really paid attention, but look at the mass on that sucker. Yeah. This was so this guy's from Indiana, and he was hunting out in Western Kentucky on public land, and he was in his tree, and he thought he saw an antler. And I think if I remember talking to him correctly, he thought he saw a big antler. So he climbed down, walked over, and this is what he found on public land in Kentucky. So put in the comments what you think this measured. What do you think this measured? Bub says a state record shed is for Breathitt County. My great friend Gary Lovely found it 242 inches, I think, without a spread, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, this one is not 242 inches, but it's still really nice. So you think that's pretty nice, Mike?
That is a really nice buck.
We look at some more pictures of it there. Turn to the side a little bit. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That almost does it more justice right there. You can
For
really
sure.
tell how monstrous that deer is on that side.
You see the mass on it there. So yeah, I think you're right. That one right there. Wow. What do you think about that? Now there were people after we posted this back a few years ago. There were people that said, "Man, I shot that buck and never found it." You know, one guy, I kind of believe that he did. But people are sending me text. Who knows? Every time a big deadhead is found, that's what people say.
Sure.
Man, I know the person who shot that. They never found it. Let's see who got the closest. Jim said he thought it was 184 and 5/9. I think he means 5/8. Steve says 187. WO says 191 and 1/8. 194, 182, 1/8. Now the mountain cheated here, 165 to 180. I will say that is the range that it's in. Doug Clayton says 191, and the correct answer is, hold on, I gotta quit sharing here. If you've not guessed, get it in. The correct answer is, Mike, what was your guess?
I was gonna say like 177.
179. So 177 was very close. Let's see. Did anybody get 179? I thought so. Mike, you were the closest, man. Good job. Closest without going over.
Total guess.
Total guess. I would have never known what it was. I would have been a terrible guess. So
I don't remember even hearing the score about that one. I remember seeing that picture, but I didn't know what the score was.
Yeah, this was in 2021. We posted it May. Oh no, that was a throwback to it. Oh, January 19th, 2021. Heck, I don't know. I've posted it like 3 times. I don't know. Here's what he said. He said that he drove from Indiana to Kentucky to hunt the last weekend of deer season. When he got to the ridge he wanted to hunt, he found a good sign, decided to climb a tree. Once he got settled in, he noticed a rib, not the antler. He noticed a rib sticking up about 40 yards away. Then he saw the massive 6-pointed side of the antler still attached to the carcass. So he climbed down, 179-inch buck. They said they thought it had died in October. So he found it in January.
Wow.
And pretty crazy. There was this deadhead in Ohio. Might as well show it. And this has made the rounds so many times. So many times this has made the rounds. This deadhead in Ohio, 299 inches.
Oh, yeah.
But it was found on a high fence farm.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Still cool deer.
Very cool. Very cool.
Have a good night, Jimmy.
See you, Jim. Have fun at work, brother. Jim's so glad to be back at work, right? He was off of work, dealing with his chemotherapy and cancer and taking care of that. He's feeling better. He's been released to go back to work. We're just so happy. Josh Teeter says tomorrow's the last day of rabbit season. I was thinking it was later than that. I didn't get to go. I'll be going tomorrow. Go there and get him, Josh. Christian said it's his birthday. Not today, but whenever I said January 19th or something. I don't know.
Oh, is it? Happy birthday, buddy.
Is it today? I don't know. Happy birthday, Chris, whenever it is. So, all right, man, shed hunting. Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird time of year. If you don't want to shed hunt, you can squirrel hunt. When do you start preparing your farm for next year, Mike?
That's a good question. Usually we start getting some things done. Like right now, if I get a chance to go down there, I've kind of been crazy with the kids' basketball schedules. I literally had 3 back-to-back practices tonight. But if I can get some time, I'd like to go down and kind of cut some stuff down. I'd like to cut some honeysuckle down. I'd like to cut some cedar down to kind of thin some things out there. Just do some maintenance things around the property. Within the hardwoods, and I'd like to Frankly, probably by March, I wouldn't mind doing some just kind of frost seeding clover, and in our existing clover fields, go in while the grass is short, and go ahead and just kind of reseed, frost seed some of that clover so it comes in real fresh in the spring. And after that, once April gets here, it'll be kind of turkey season, and then we'll start turning some ground over for some spring and summer plots.
Yeah, right now is definitely the best time to go clear stuff out. I need to do that in just my backyard. I'm not hunting it, but I need to get out there and clear some things out. Let's see. I've got a picture here of the state record sheds ever found. I'm going to send it here and share it. Bub said these are in Breathitt County. I tell you what, in the mountains, I've seen the biggest deadheads in eastern Kentucky of anywhere else. And my theory, and I've talked to, and not just my theory, but a lot of people think that, you have very limited access in the mountains, and these bucks can get to places where they may live their whole life and never see a human, right? Or they only see humans on side-by-sides. They're never hunted because they're such a remote area up on top of a mountain somewhere that's hard to get to. And so you find a lot of big deadheads in these mountains that no one ever got an opportunity to hunt.
So, all right.
Let's see. I had that one if I sent it to myself. I mean, heck, I'm happy with a nice 8-point set,
Yeah, I know. I love finding. We typically don't find monster sheds on our place. We'll find a nice side of an 8-pointer, a nice side of a 10-pointer occasionally. We've had some decent ones, but nothing like a monster.
Because y'all kill them.
Can we kill the monstrous bucks?
Well, if they get big enough, you're not going to pass them. So
true, yeah.
You're never going to find, Now, what would you do? You have several people that hunt your property. What if you guys found like a really big 12-point sheds this year?
Yeah.
Whoever finds the sheds gets dibs on hunting that buck next year if you see it.
Wow, those are.
Isn't that crazy?
Hits. Yeah, that's an awesome set right there, man. That'd be awesome.
That is a mountain buck, 200 Breathitt County, wow. 299 inches. Wild. I think that's what Bub said. No, I'm sorry. 299 was at Ohio buck. State record sheds right there. Breathitt County. Gary Lovely found them. 242 inches. And he said that's without a spread. So I'm not a buck scorer, so I don't know if that's without a spread. Now, is that what Boone and Crockett does, or is that more?
Well, without the spread, it probably means obviously when the antlers are sitting on the deer's head, they can't measure the spread because they wasn't there.
They're not on there, right?
Wow, that's impressive.
It's their own category.
I'm sure the spread was probably, anywhere from 18 to 22 inches, more than likely. That's pretty impressive.
James said he wanted to see people's pictures of sheds. There you go, James. There's
my
uncle right there.
My uncle was in Iowa a couple years ago. Somebody had him out there he was helping with something. I can't remember if he was helping with a house or something. Yeah. But he actually was up high somewhere. I can't remember what he was doing. He was up in a tree or something and ended up finding a shed across the field, and they were a set of monster. He actually gave them to me. I got them as decorations in the house. But it was a huge, it's like this big around. It's huge.
James actually shared a picture with me of a set he found.
That's a great set.
Yeah. It's a good set. James also has a good set of bourbon behind him there. But yeah, that's let's see, there's another one. There's one of them.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's a nice
I'd be happy with that. That doesn't even come close to some of those others.
Yeah, but to answer your question, if we found like a shed of a 12-pointer or something like that, and we knew one was running around, we don't really call dibs like on my uncle's place. We don't claim deer or do anything like that. If we're hunting a stand and a deer walks in, whoever's there and is hunting and it walks up on them, that's, it is what it is. We don't really fight over deer or claim
Gotcha.
deer or anything like that.
Yeah, you just not had the right one show up. You've not had the kind of buck that tears families apart.
I mean, we've had, what's weird is like, I've told you this before. We don't like name deer because we don't see them for 7 years in a row. My uncle's place is used specifically to kind of move through deer, just move through there. They don't live on this place. So we just don't come into contact with deer over and over and over and over again, year on, year out. So we don't really like name them and get used to them. A lot of the bigger bucks that we've killed have just like stumbled on our property and we've just been hunting, and whoever's been there has been the lucky one to get the deer. So it's kind of more luck of the draw, if you will.
Yeah, that's why your uncle kills them all, because he's retired and he can go up there anytime he wants.
It helps. It helps to be retired, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anthony Jones, how you doing, brother? Glad you're here. Bub said that after those sheds we just showed, after Gary found those, people were paying him to hunt his property, so he leased his property. The buck has never been seen.
Wow.
So 242-inch buck, never been seen. Never on camera. No one ever successfully killed it that they know of.
Wow.
So it's possible you have antlers that big and you're old enough, you shed them, then you die, and it's a tragic ending, right?
Yeah, you never know.
Shed them in February or January, harsh winter, you die. That's sad. That's bad. That's a bad way to go. So Ryan says, did y'all ever receive the email with the sheds that was 217 inches? A story where me and my cousin hunted him for 3 years. Ryan, I don't remember if I received. Back, did you send it yourself, Ryan? Because I'll just search your name in my email. Doug says sheds can do a number on tractor tires. Those pictures come out every year.
Yep.
Of a nice shed in the side of a tire, big tire. So that's when you don't want sheds in your land. That's an expensive shed. James says, watched a farmer in Crittenden throw a shed towards the road. After it going through his tire, he wasn't happy at all. So he threw it towards the road so someone else can run over it. There you go.
That's up by us, James.
Yeah,
that's up by me. Probably up by Curtis Lloyd's or somewhere in the near.
It's probably your uncle Don.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Ryan, I tell you what, for some reason my email just there's just a circle keeps going, it won't open, but I will check it, and if we don't get to show it today, we'll show it next Tuesday. How about that? Yeah. So I have a picture here. Have you been getting some turkeys on camera, Mike?
Actually, recently I haven't. I think the flocks that we had visiting our place a lot of the fall have kind of shifted.
Yeah.
I've not been seeing too many on camera recently, actually.
Okay.
It's kind of been surprising.
Wow. I'm going to show this, and then Ryan, I might post this tomorrow as well, Ryan, if I can.
Steve, I usually start looking at about mid-February. Mid to late February is typically when I'll start scouting.
Valentine's Day, great gift for your wife, girlfriend, significant boyfriend, whatever. You're not judging you, Steve.
Mid to late February, and obviously into March is fine too. In turkey season, I've physically seen a buck still holding during April turkey season. So I think they just lose them at different times throughout.
Yeah, it's just hanging on, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I do have a trail cam picture of a buck. It wasn't a big buck, but it wasn't a small buck either. And he was holding. It was like April 4th or 5th. I'm like, holy crap, he's still holding. It was weird. I didn't expect it.
How many people would see that and shoot it?
Man, I hope not.
Is there a point? Here's a good question for everybody watching. We don't have a ton of people watching. We got 24. 24 is a great number for this question, because I don't want the crazy people on here that like to repost their stuff or do stupid, the idiots. But here's a good question. At what point would you consider poaching? What would you have to see come across your face, your eyeballs, outside of season or outside of, it could be in season, but outside of normal regulations? At what point, is there a point at which you say, you know what, this is wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway because of that buck? Now, I know, now let me answer that first. I do not believe there's that point with me. I think that 299-inch Ohio buck could walk out in front of me. And if it was illegal, I would not do it. Even if I wanted to, even if I cried, even if I sat there and cried, I would not do it. But I know good men that I say, you know what, he's a good fella, but he messed up, who have pushed the boundaries and have done it. There's no one on Eastern Outdoors, but I know I can think of 2 or 3 right now. I know of one guy who killed a small buck early season and then had a giant buck walk out when he had like his daughter or somebody out there, or maybe he was just doe hunting and he killed the giant buck.
Wow.
And he will tell you it was wrong. This was like, I just talked to this guy a couple years ago. This was like 10 years ago when he first bought his property. And it was his private property, which doesn't make it right. It makes it a little better than if it was someone else's, right? Is there a point? Jordan Friend says he's going to plead the fifth. He's zipped it. Throw away the key. Out of work, no food in the freezer. Look, that's understandable, and I mean, go for it. I mean, if you literally are starving and you have to have something to survive, do what you got to do to feed your kids, right? Now, there's programs that'll help you feed your family, and I'm not going to get into that. But I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about pure trophy hunting, pure something crazy coming by, and you're like, wow, I already killed that 8-pointer, but that's a record. But see, again, you're not even going to be able to tell anybody, you know? So I just want to know, is there a point? Anthony Jones says, where's Jimmy Carroll tonight? He was here, Anthony, but he got off because he said 5 a.m. comes early. And Anthony says it's been good to have him back at work. We actually talked about that, Anthony, how we're so glad he's back. He's glad he's back. So we're very happy for him. This person said, if I was starving, Brett says, yeah, definitely not worth it, but my nerves get tested during youth. My daughter can't see or find the buck. I get that. Yeah. He's going to be like, yeah, move over here, you know. Bub says, never, no way. That give you a rush like legally hunting it. That's true. That's true. Mom's got a tag, Jordan says. He's going to use someone else's tag. James says, would it be a better question on how far past shooting light would you go? Yeah, but it may not be just shooting light, right? It could be it walks out at 9 a.m. and you've already killed a buck and you're just hunting for a doe, but here's this target buck that you've been after for 2 years. You killed a little 6-pointer and this 14-pointer walks out. That's going to be your personal best. That's going to look great on your wall that you've put hours and hours and hours of time into. And you're like, you know what? Screw it. I could never do that. Some of you guys could. Some of you guys right now are thinking, I wouldn't tell anyone, but I'd do it. Now, I know Mike wouldn't do it.
No. Yeah, you know me. You know me. I wouldn't.
Let's see. Jordan says he's kidding, but I mean, he had two comments that were sketchy. Now he's kidding. Okay, Jordan, sure. Steve says Bear Grease podcast recently had an interesting interview with the guy who poached. Yeah, they've had some poachers on their podcast before. I guess after a certain amount of years, statute of limitations, they can't be charged. But I mean, there's been some serious poachers out there, like, and that's just the ones that's gotten caught. You fell and your gun went off. Okay, well, maybe. I feel like I haven't been hunting long enough to feel the need to poach something. Maybe if I went 20 years without a buck, yeah. I mean, no one has a need to. It's just, what if just the perfect buck, just the ideal trophy. No, using mommy's tag could be different. I think of poaching as out of season or at night. Oh, I think Bub is saying using someone else's tag could be different. So maybe Bub, Bub has a girlfriend, and maybe he'd use his girlfriend's tag. That's not right, is it, Mike?
No, it ain't. Don't do it, folks. Don't do it. You know,
Right.
this is, and you know where I'm gonna go with this. Like, I'm so old fashioned, y'all. Like, I just am. And when people do that, it's spitting on your neighbor. It's taking a big
Sound like
crap.
you're speaking from experience.
It's taking a big crap on your neighbor's porch and middle fingers up to them. And it's just like, we're all out there to do the same thing. And if you make the decision to do that, you're stealing from your neighbors. And it's just, I don't know. I can't do it. I wouldn't act on it. I wouldn't do it. I would hope that my neighbors wouldn't do it to me.
Right. But they do. So Brett and Chris both say, I pushed that at Shooting Light often during bow season. Chris says if I can still see my pins, it's still sitting like. I look at when the time at which daylight runs out, and you can add 30 or I guess sunset, and you can add 30 minutes to that for Shooting Light, and I try to go by that with my phone. And there are lots of times where I'm in the woods, and let's say that I know that Shooting Light ends at 6:30, but it's 10 after 6, and it's already dark because I'm back in the woods with a thick canopy, and I just can't see enough, right? But if you shoot, if Shooting Light's 6:30 and you shoot a deer at 6:31, not that terrible, right? I mean, maybe your watch does say 6:30. I don't know. Just don't look at your phone where it's already calibrated. But I'm not saying like pushing the envelope where you can get away with it. I'm saying like it's a clear poaching illegal thing. We're not condoning it. We think people who do that, I would highly disagree with. Actually, if I had a neighbor, Mike, who I knew killed more than one buck a year, I would definitely report that neighbor because it's not fair, right? It's just not fair. So Doug says they won't let you hang that mount in your jail cell. Yeah, well, you might not go to jail, but you ain't getting that mount if you get caught. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and you're going to pay the price. So speaking of which, I don't think we've ever gotten an update on the piebald buck that caused. So I'm pretty sure it caused us to lose followers when we posted it. Well, I won't say we. When I posted the picture that said poached across it. Now I did add a question mark at the end of that. I did add a question mark, so I was asking, was this deer poached? And pretty sure there are people that used to watch the show that made some disagreeable comments on that post, and now they've not been on the show since. That's okay. It happens.
Sure.
No hard feelings. I don't care. But hey, I mean, he's not been acquitted.
I haven't heard, but
acquitted. He was
arraigned. It's like one of those things, man. It's a post. It happens in our state. It's something that happened. We're gonna talk about it. If you don't want us to talk about it, maybe don't post about it. If you're going to do something that could be seen as shady, maybe don't post about it.
I hope it all works out. I hope he did it legally. I hope he did it legally. Here's some advice, folks. If you kill a deer that stops your scrolling, right? So you're on social media, you're scrolling, and you kill a deer that you know is going to stop someone's scroll dead in their tracks, and it's a nice deer, and it's during gun season, don't take your picture with jeans and no orange on. Right? Make sure you have written proof that you can hunt there. And that saves you all the trouble in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Those two
Yeah.
things save you all the trouble in the world. That wasn't the case. Wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I'm
Unfortunately.
not again. I'm not pulling against the guy. I hope it works out.
Yeah.
I hope he. Here's the thing. I hope it works out if he did it correctly.
Right.
From the looks of the photos, did he? I don't know. But can you tell the whole story out of the photos? No. So if he didn't do it correctly, I also hope it works out and there's justice. So who knows?
And the information that was presented it was not kosher. So
Nope.
it's got to be.
I feel like
different, but
yeah. Steve says I feel like you never hear about doe poaching stories. Maybe it just never happens. It happens. That when you hear about does being poached, it's because it's a poaching ring and they're poaching dozens of does. And so, it happens. Another thing we've not had an update on is what are we going to do about the CWD in Kentucky? Are we going to open up some deer seasons and let people out there to hunt? I think that's what's going to happen. The people I've talked to, I think hunters are going to have first opportunity to go out there, kill more deer, get more deer tested. If hunters can't fulfill that quota, landowners are going to get the chance. If hunters and landowners can't, then Fish and Wildlife have to do it. So that's what I'm hearing, Mike. I don't know.
Yeah, that's honestly probably what we're going to do. If I had to guess, that's probably it's going to be hunters. And then if hunters don't participate, if we don't do a good job of participating and doing our part to help in this situation, it will go to the landowners. And then if the landowners don't get it done, it will go to the wildlife agency and they'll go in and do their thing. And then people will probably complain and be mad at them. But it's like, we need to be a part of the solution, whether you believe in it or not. I know people debate that all the time.
Yeah.
We got to trust
landowners. Landowners should actually get first dibs on it.
They probably should.
Right. They should get first dibs.
Yeah.
But there's just not enough. One landowner. How many can you realistically kill? Right. WO says he was helping his brother, who struggles from a stroke. He had his gun season. He was helping his brother who had a stroke this gun season. They had a 160-inch buck come out. Excuse me, my brother could not get on it. I could have killed it easily, but I'd already killed my buck. A neighbor killed it the next morning.
Wow.
That's a tough one.
That is tough.
Because, if you've been around people who's had strokes, terribly sad situation because they lose a lot of function, right?
Yeah, they sure do.
I mean, heck, I'm fully healthy, and sometimes it's a struggle to shoot right accurately. I mean, I can imagine the assistance that you'd need. So, and I actually think WO, if he would have not taken the gun and killed it himself, but given enough assistance, I think you're fine with that. It's like when Josh's little boy killed a buck and a doe like 15 minutes apart. Of course, you help your kid get the gun on the deer. And really, the kid just pulls the trigger, right? I mean, you're helping him. You're not holding the gun for him, but you're really assisting them in killing their first deer. That's fine. But once you take over the gun away from the child or whoever and kill the deer, that's when it's wrong. Unless you've not killed one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, Mike?
Oh, I mean, when Caleb killed his turkey this past spring, I was sitting right next to him, and some of the things that I knew to do, and these are the things my dad did with me. I reached over and I helped him pull back that hammer.
Yeah.
I explained, make sure you turn that safety off, and he clicked the safety off, and that was when the turkeys were, 80 yards, and they were kind of slowly strutting our way. Right. And I'm having them get ready, and then I'm literally talking them through the entire way. The gun's in a gun rest, and he's physically got control of it. I'm just right next to him. Right. And the one thing I did was I reached over and I adjusted the gun rest to where he could move it and shimmy it when he needed to be able to move. So, but as far as like touching the gun or like doing things for him, didn't do a thing. He did it all. He got everything aimed. He aimed correctly. He squeezed the trigger, and the turkey fell.
Boom.
So it's you're there to assist and to help them and teach them. But yeah, once you might be the one to grab, hey, you're not on it, pick it
Yeah.
up, and that wouldn't be right, right? So,
Exactly. So Ryan says he has seen people that he knows poach deer. Then 3 years later, they bragged about killing a 170-inch deer.
mm,
Then the next year, they hinted around and wanted to know where Ryan was seeing his big deer, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not telling you that. No way."
yeah, I wouldn't be
Right.
sharing any of that.
Anthony says, I worked on a game warden's truck back in December, and I asked him the question on what's next for us he's talking about finding CWD in Kentucky. He literally laughed and said, they're keeping it so hush right now. I don't have the best answer for you, but I will say there are meetings in place on the situation. He gave some thoughts of his own on what's to come, but from what I gather, they're in panic mode at the moment. Yeah, I don't think they're in panic mode. I really think they want to do what is right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're probably hearing and getting questions and feeling pressure from all different angles. Excuse me. I will say this. The people in charge I trust. And I'm not saying they will come up with a perfect solution, but they'll come up with a solution they think is best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you disagree with what they think is best, that's okay. But I think they will do their best in solving it. So let me real quick. Go ahead, Mike. While you're talking, I'm going to show those pictures of Ryan Centers.
Yeah, sure. I was just going to quickly say, I thought a couple shows ago, this was several weeks ago or even a month and a half ago or so when Kyle came on, he spoke to this and he really talked about what most likely what the Kentucky plan would be, because when he was a biologist, he was part of that plan, part of coming up with some of the solutions and at least having some write-ups and some say into the planning of when this might happen. So he knew a little bit about it, and he shared that on our show that night. Yeah. And I thought it was really good insight.
And congratulations to Kyle, because Kyle was the deer biologist with Fish and Wildlife. He's not on here tonight, but deer biologist with Fish and Wildlife. He left that job to take a job in, I guess, what you call the corporate world for a private company, and I think was a better paying job. And now he's left that job to go to the United States Fish and Wildlife Services as a wild game biologist. So
that's awesome.
And he'll be working in the Southeast, which will put him back here in Kentucky. So very happy. All right, let's look at this picture of Ryan Centers. If you've stayed with us this long, thank you. And these pictures are worth it right here. So I've got 18 pictures. You see that?
Yep. Wow.
That's a shed from Ryan that he found. And they hunted this deer, and Ryan's on here, so he can correct me. I think he said they hunted this deer for 3 years. Wow. There it is on camera. And there it is on the ground.
Wow.
I don't know if this is Ryan or his buddy. But, hey, that's a heck of a deer.
Yes, it is.
Look at that.
Wow.
You got a lot of sheds behind him, but look at that one.
That's a dandy.
Looks like a camper. Eh? This must be a deer camp. Let's see. There it is.
Wow. That's a good one.
Looks like he's on a strip mine there, Ryan? Oh, man, look at that.
Wow.
That guy could be a little happier, I think.
That's a nice one.
Oh, I got it mounted.
That's pretty. That's a pretty mount.
Yeah, look at it. It's one of those barrel mounts. I don't know.
Yeah, pedestal.
Pedestal. There you go. Look at that. Man. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's
3 years. I think that's worth 3 year wait, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And
then, Mike, we'll finish it off here with you're going to like this picture. Josh Teeter. Now, look, here's what I want. I'm not going to say anything about this photo. Everyone in the comments, tell me what you noticed. That was Ryan's cousin that killed that buck. See, that's the kind of buck, Mike, I was talking. You and your cousins hunt the same farm. That's the kind of buck that split a family apart.
Yeah, right? It would, I guess.
All right, here we go. Let's look at this. You guys tell me what you notice about this picture that I'm going to share from Josh Teeter. Mike, you participate here too.
Yeah.
You see it pretty good?
Not yet. Actually, the screen's black right now.
Oh no, is it still black?
Yep, it's kind of clocking right now.
Okay.
Nope.
Anybody else see it?
Now it's black. Now it's clocking.
Let me try again. Daggone it.
Maybe it's on my side. I don't know.
Maybe it is. All right, you see it now?
Yep. Nice. Right. That'll get you fired up.
Yeah. Does anything stick out to you?
Well, it's a bunch of gobblers. I'll tell you that.
Look at that one. So you see the one turned sideways.
Yeah, and then the one right behind it.
Look at that one right behind it, though. How many beers does that thing have?
I would love to know. Man, I would love to see.
I mean, I've got it blown up. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 6 just hanging down there.
Right. I'd love to see a real close look at that bird. Keep your camera close, I'll tell you that.
That one right there looks like it has a few. You see that one?
Yeah, almost.
That one back there is strutting its stuff.
Man, that's getting me. Now I'm getting fired up for my Florida hunt.
That was a little over 2 weeks ago. It looks like the key is throw these old corn cobs down. You have the turkeys come in.
Yeah, those turkeys will come into that big time.
That one has a huge beard, hundreds of beards. It worked for us. That's not a mop. That's a rake. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yep. That's not a mop. That's a rake. That's a good one. I was there when old Michael killed his first triple beard. It was fun.
Yeah. Mountain bird. Love it. Man, I love it. I can't
James Evans says that would be a full mount no matter what the wife said. I don't know if he's talking about that deer that we showed or these turkeys.
He's talking about that turkey right now. I know he is.
It's crazy that a turkey mount is more than a deer mount.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, we were at Disney.
Harder, much harder.
Sad thing. We, spending all this money going to Disney, and I get the old call from the taxidermist, Caleb's turkey's done. So now I gotta
hold on to it a few more weeks.
I gotta get some cash ready to finish paying on that sucker. But I'm really looking forward to get it back. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of cash, I'm selling. Hold on a second. Let me. I'll be right back.
Yeah. But I've been doing all kinds of research for my Florida Osceola hunt. I got picked to go to Ocala National Forest, and it's a quota hunt. I believe I'll be down there between the 26th and 31st of March. The hunt's between the 28th and 31st. I'm gonna go down a little early, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, so I am selling my bow. Hard to see. I have it out so I can take pictures. It is a PSE EVO EVL. It has a really nice sight. It's a $1,200 bow with a $150, $170 sight, and I'm selling it. If you're interested, let me know. If not, if I can't find anybody interested, I think my old boy Bub is going to put it on his page where he sells a lot of hunting gear.
Yeah.
And for, some chances, people can buy chances to buy it. But I need to get rid of it. I'm going to buy me a new one this summer, but I need to get rid of it kind of fast. So, and I might be getting rid of some other stuff too. But I hate to part with that bow. I love it so much. But,
yeah.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I sent John a set of gobblers. Okay, hold on. James says he's very excited for you.
Appreciate that, James.
Doug says him and your Uncle Don are going to get after some coyotes.
Uncle Don spent 201 hours in the deer woods this year.
Crazy. What a crazy man.
He logged them all, I'll tell you that. I heard about it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's a good, nice little paintbrush of a turkey, and then we'll call it a night. That gets you fired up, doesn't it, Mike?
It does. It for sure does. I'm so
Looks like
stoked.
This one has one over there.
Yep.
That one right there.
Yep. Group of gobblers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I see in that photo. So I am excited about our turkey deer camp. We're going to be having public land turkey camp. I said turkey deer camp. Public land turkey camp. We're going to do that April. Let me check. April the 13th, I believe. Is that right, Mike?
Yep. Believe so.
We're going to show up I'm going to show up on Friday, April the 12th. I want to show up that morning very early. Don't know if I'll be able to with my new job, but I'll definitely be there that evening. And then hunt Saturday and Sunday around Cave Run Lake. So if you want to join us, let me know. And Anthony, shoot me a message. Jordan, I did not, but if you are interested, I can still sell them. I still have them. I took them off Facebook because I was getting a bunch of nonsense requests on there. So anyway, go ahead and request off. Chris said, go ahead and request off. Chris, I've not even started the job yet. It don't start until February 12th. So I'll see what I can do. But anyway, Mike, I appreciate you, brother. It's so good to be back on live tonight. I just had a lot going on, a lot of things that suck going on, and it's taking a lot of my time. But I plan to be here every Tuesday, even when the Cats play, Mike. That's a shot at you.
That is a shot at me.
Are we going to beat? Are we going to beat Tennessee Saturday?
I think so.
It's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough.
Connect. Is that how you say it? Connect.
Yeah, that kid's playing well.
That dude can play. You know what we need? We need Thero in there to guard him quite a bit, I think.
I agree.
Bradshaw certainly can't. So anyway, Scott is talking to you, Mike. He said later, Melonhead. Does Scott have any room to call someone a melonhead? Look at that. His head barely fits in that profile picture. Yes, South Carolina did beat Tennessee tonight, and they beat Kentucky a week ago. They're legit 18-3. All right, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bass Fishing Live. If you're a bass fisherman at all, we'll have a live on Thursday night. I should be on that one, I think. Josh will definitely be on there trying to grow that page. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
See y'all. Have a good one.